Welcome to Teacher Talk, where we talk about important educational issues. Today's topic is staffing. It is staffing season all over the United States, where principals have received their budget for the coming school year. They've received their staffing allocations, and they have to make decisions about where people are going to be placed, who they're going to hire, what openings they have, and what they have to do. In Teacher Talk, I am not the end-all be-all. I am simply giving you my experience as a teacher and administrator, and so I would love for you to put the comments in, anything you want to add in there. I always forget something, and please make sure that you read the comments and comment on other people's comments. So let's talk about staffing, and I want to talk about it in three different areas. The first is why we're in the situation that we're in. Second is the perspective of a principal and some advice for principals. And third is perspective of staffing, teachers, and some advice for them. So let's talk about why we're at where we're at. We are in a very stressful situation as it comes to staffing, and this is why. COVID money is no longer here. I told you this was coming a year ago, and I told you this was coming 6 months ago. But here's what happened. When COVID started, we got a bulk of money as soon as COVID came in, and we spent that money on Chromebooks and technology and air filters and all the things that we needed to make sure that our kids were successful when it came to COVID learning, especially knowing that a lot of them were at home. We had 3 years to spend that money. The next year, we got another bulk of money because we realized that there were issues that we were dealing with that we had never dealt with before. And so we got another bulk of money that we had 2 years to spend. And the majority of that money, let's be honest, was spent on staffing, extra counselors, extra social workers, interventionists, lowering class sizes, things that we felt like would help kids be successful as they navigated this new situation of either still being at home or having been at home for a year. We got another round the third year, and that we had 2 years to spend that too, and most of that money was spent on staffing. That money has come to an end, and it is dried up. There's no more coming in. So how does that pertain to staffing? Well, for the past couple years, schools have hired interventionists and counselors to be able to help with the situation that we had with COVID, and that money is no longer there, but the staff is there. In my district specifically, 1 year we hired 20 to 25 counselors. We got counselors from other districts, and it was absolutely amazing that we had extra help at our schools, especially our middle schoolers and our high schools, with extra counseling. That money is no longer there, but those counselors are. Most schools purchased interventionists because they knew they were having kids coming in, having been at home for a half year or a full year, and we needed extra staff. And who do you hire as an interventionist? Your absolute best teachers. You either steal a teacher from another school that has got experience, or you take your most highly qualified staff in your building that have shown they could work with students that are struggling, and you've placed them in an intervention position. Well, now that money is not there, so that position is not there. And what do you have to do? You have to find a position for those counselors and find a position for those interventionists. Now, the counselors, some of them came in non-tenured, and so they just do not have a position, which is very sad. They are starting to interview. Most of the interventionists came in are tenured, and they have to be placed back in the position, which means that staff that was hired the last 2, 3, or 4 years that are not tenured no longer have a position because they're just not there. This is creating turmoil in school because you have this staff swapping. You now have 2 or 3 interventionists that have to be put back into a classroom. So now any natural position that you would have open through retirement or someone moving, you no longer have open, and you've got to automatically put those teachers back into a position. But that doesn't happen all the time. So now you've got to create a position, and the way you can create a position is to pink slip someone that's been with you for 3 years because they are not tenured. It's unfair. It's just the situation that we are in. So that's why we're in the situation that we're in. We've got a lot of teachers that need positions because they were in intervention, they were in counseling, and we don't have the funding to continue those positions. And so they have to be placed back into a classroom position that's in our staffing. So let's talk about 2 different groups, principals. Let me give some advice for principals. First and foremost, if you have a teacher that is struggling in an area, and you move a highly qualified, great teacher into that position, and you are taking them from a position that they absolutely love because you believe they will do a better job in that position, you are punishing a good teacher for a bad teacher. You probably can't do anything about that right now because you've got to figure out where to put that teacher that's not being successful. But the bottom line is, if you have a teacher that's struggling, that should be dealt with in August, September, October, and November. It shouldn't be dealt with staffing money in April and May, because what you're having to do is this unbelievable, amazing fifth grade teacher that's the best teacher in the entire world. You're now having to move her to second grade because you've got a second grade teacher that's not been performing. You should have dealt with that in August, September, and October. Well, here's the deal. That doesn't help you right now. So let me just give you my advice. If you have to move a great teacher out of a position that they love because you really need them to be effective in a different grade level, you need to say to them, if you'll just give it 1 year. If I just need you to be here to go from fifth grade to second grade just for 1 year. And then if you don't like it, you may go back to fifth grade. But I'm really struggling with this. And I know it's not fair to you to move you somewhere that you've been successful and you're being great. But if you will just give me 1 year, I will give you the option to be able to go back. At this point in the school year, April and May, with your staffing, it's too late to work on issues with your second grade teacher. You should have been doing that in August, September, and October as your MAP scores came in, as your things came in. But now the best that you can do is move somebody that you know is going to do a great job there. But let me tell you what, if you continue to move great teachers into positions they don't want to be in, they will move to a different school that doesn't do that. Be very careful. Also, don't make your staffing decisions because you are angry with someone. If you're angry with someone because they never come to night events or because they're not doing this or that, and you were trying to punish someone, that is going to backfire on you, and you are causing major stress in your buildings. Staffing issues should be dealt with in October and November and December, not in April and May when you're frantically trying to figure out what to do. But now that you're there, if you have to make a decision that's going to shuffle people all around and you've got to move a really good teacher out of a position that she loves, you need to give that teacher the option to go back to that classroom after 1 year. And then you need to work on the teacher that you moved and figure that out as an administrator. That's just my experience. And I've had to be able to do that. Thirdly, teachers. You need to understand there's a bigger perspective than just you. And there's a bigger perspective than just your classroom. I say all the time, we don't live in a box and a bubble. We live in a big picture. And you as a teacher want to live in your bubble of your classroom, but I want to be in fifth grade. And the box of your fifth grade team. I love my fifth grade team. There is a bigger picture at that school. And it's not all about your box and your bubble. And sometimes an administrator has to make a decision for what's best for all of those students and all the staff. And there may be a bigger picture going on. So it's really easy to get super stressed about, oh my gosh, what's going on? Why haven't you told me where are we going? And doing that. And you've got to realize that there is a bigger picture in there. My best advice to you is to sit one-on-one with your administration and say, I just need to hear your opinion on this, why you're doing this, because it's very stressful to me. And they may have to move you, and it may not be fair, and you may not like that. But the bottom line is, if you've had kids left and you have to go down from 5 fifth grade classes to 3 fifth grade classes, 2 teachers have to be moved. And if you've got money and you don't have money for a teacher and you've got to move an interventionist back into a classroom, there's got to be an opening for them, and they have to figure something out. And it is so very stressful for your administrators. I know it's stressful for you. I know it's causing turmoil. Nobody knows where they're going. But the bottom line is your principal is going through a lot of stressful situations too. Sit down with them, pray for them, talk to them, ask them what you can do for them, and know that we are not living in a box and a bubble of your grade level, your position, and what you want. We are living in a big picture, and we have to make decisions that affect that entire big picture. Go to them and talk to them. And lastly, administrators. This is the biggest thing that you need to do. Make those decisions absolutely as soon as you can. Because if you move a teacher from one grade level to another and they don't want to be there, you need to give them the respect to interview at other schools. And this is the interview season. Do not wait until the first week of June when everybody's gone home to announce where your staffing is, because those teachers need time to interview at other schools. If you know where people are going to be, put it in there and say, this is what we're going to do. Even if you think there might have to be some changes, put out everything that you can put out now, because if a teacher needs to move because of a staffing decision, they need to know that in April and May. So they will have time to interview for open positions. Do not sit on your staffing unless you absolutely have to. Teachers, sometimes there's a reason. Sometimes there's a reason that they can't. Ask them. If they're holding out, ask them, is there a reason why you haven't told us? Can you explain at least why you haven't told us, so that we can be relaxed a little bit? Because it doesn't help just to get irritated with everybody else. But principals, let your staff know what's going on and get your staffing out there absolutely as soon as possible. Because if you're moving a kindergarten teacher to 5th grade, she needs the ability to interview for another kindergarten position if that's where she wants to be. This is just my opinion. I would love for you to add in on the comments, and I would love for you even more to read the comments and comment on other people's and say, great idea, I've never dealt with that, or give them what it is that you've been through. Hope this helped. Please share, please tag your colleagues, and thanks for watching Teacher Talk.